Hello, my friends. Welcome back to the Transform Your Life podcast. Today, we're talking about something I'm deeply passionate about, which is how to create lasting change in your life. Not just surface level motivation, not just forcing yourself to think happy thoughts, but real deep inner transformation that lasts. I want to walk you through what actually happens in my breakthrough sessions, what they are, why they're so powerful, and why they go beyond just positive thinking. And if you've ever felt like you sabotage yourself, get in your own way, or keep hitting the same wall over and over and over again, I want you to stick around to the end because I'm going to give you a simple but powerful exercise you can do today. And if you want to go deeper, I'll show you how to grab a free 30-minute clarity breakthrough session with me. So here's the thing, positive thinking has its place. I'm all for affirmations and shifting your mindset, but let's be real. If it was that simple as just telling yourself, I'm confident, I'm successful, I'm enough, we'd all be living our dream lives already. But the problem is, your conscious mind, the part of you that's listening to me right now, isn't running the show. Your subconscious mind is. And that subconscious programming, most of it was written before you were even 8 years old. We form beliefs in childhood, beliefs about ourselves, about other people, about the world around us. And here's the kicker. Once we have a belief, our brain goes to work collecting evidence to prove that it's true. If you grew up believing I'm not enough, your mind will filter the world in a way that confirms this. Not because it's actually true, but because your brain is wired to be right. But the reality is, no beliefs are actually true, except universal truths, right? Like the sun will set tonight and rise again tomorrow. The rest are just perceptions that we've practiced believing. The sad part is, so many people don't even realize the core beliefs that are holding them back and controlling their entire lives. Like I said, it's happening on a subconscious level. You're not aware of them. You might be aware of the fact that you're sabotaging or you're holding yourself back, or you're physically pressing the snooze button when you said you get up to work out at 5 a.m. today. But the fact is, a lot of us the majority of people don't know what is actually happening on a subconscious level unless they're doing this kind of work to uncover those beliefs that are happening on an unconscious level, therefore controlling their life. So, in my breakthrough sessions, we go beyond surface level mindset work because it is so important. A client will come to me with something they're struggling with or a change they want to make. Maybe they want to feel more confident, stop procrastinating, stop sabotaging their relationships, start taking consistent action in their business to make more money and more impact. Whatever it is, we don't just focus on the problem in the present. We trace it back using tools I'm trained in, such as NLP, which stands for Neuro-Linguistic Programming, QTT, which is quantum time technique. I help them uncover the root of the belief going all the way back to childhood. Think of NLP as the study of how your brain codes experiences, the language you use with yourself, the patterns of thoughts, feelings, and behaviors you've been running, often without realizing it. With NLP, we can identify those patterns, interrupt them, and replace them with ones that actually serve you. QTT, again, quantum time technique, is a powerful process that allows us to work with the subconscious and even the unconscious mind to clear emotional blocks, release limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs are beliefs that are limiting you, and rewire your nervous system without reliving old trauma. Okay? I'm not a therapist in any way, shape, or form, and I would never claim to be. So this is different from traditional therapy. Instead of just putting positive affirmations on top of a limiting belief, such as maybe your unconscious says, I'm not worthy of love, and then your conscious belief says, I am lovable, there's a disconnect there. If you consciously believe something and unconsciously you don't, the unconscious part of you is going to continue to collect the evidence of that one being true. It's very difficult to just create a new life from conscious thought and behavior, okay? It's kind of like playing tug of war, but there's 10 people on one side and you on another, and assuming that those are the strongest people in the world, you're going to lose, okay? Hopefully that visual helps you. Think that when you think of your unconscious beliefs very strong, very hardwired in your brain. And then consciously, you on the other side of the rope, trying to play tug of war, but you're going to lose every time. Some people, they're able to build momentum for a couple of days and then they, quote, fall off the horse. I oftentimes see this when I'm helping people declutter and organize their homes. What I've noticed to be true is a lot of times, let's say someone buys a brand new journal, and you might resonate with this as well. They buy a brand new journal, they're super excited. Maybe they're going to start writing out their goals daily, or brain dumping before bed, or planning out their day ahead, and they start, and then they last about 4 to 7 days, and then they stop. That's super common that I see, and it's because consciously they want to create this change, but unconsciously something is stopping them, sabotaging and blocking them, and that's what we do in these breakthrough sessions, okay? So instead of just putting, like I said, positive affirmations on top of a limiting belief, we go in and change the belief at the root, like pulling at a weed instead of just trimming the leaves, okay? Once the root is cleared, we create action steps from new, empowering beliefs. That's when change becomes natural instead of forced. You don't need willpower. You know on an unconscious level that the change is already done. Let's say you drink alcohol, for example, and you want to stop. You don't say, I'm quitting drinking alcohol. You already say, I don't drink. Okay? If you want to stop smoking, you're not saying, oh, I'm trying to quit. You say, I'm not a smoker. You speak you speak as if it's already happened and you've already done that inner work to program yourself as a non-smoker. Now, if you're trying to do this only consciously, it's going to be very difficult to create change. Same thing goes for literally everything, whether you're attracting toxic people into your life, whether you start and stop business ideas often, whether you start a workout routine and then stop and then end up sabotaging it, whether maybe you go and work out and then right after the gym, you go and eat chocolate bars and donuts. I know that because I've been there 100%. Now, the work has to be done on a somatic, which means in your body level, as well as an unconscious part of you, because you have let's say their files and filing cabinet within your mind, and they have been collecting data throughout your entire life to collect proof and evidence of that very first belief that you created in your mind to be true. And it's not true, but your brain doesn't know that because it's been very strongly hardwired throughout your entire life with the evidence that you have collected. So the reason this works when positive thinking alone doesn't is because we're working with the part of your mind that drives 95% of your daily thoughts, feelings, and actions. When you shift a belief at that level, you don't have to try so hard. Your behavior aligns naturally because it's coming from a new identity, a new lens through which you see the world. If you have someone in your life and they are a rather negative person, they're going to perceive everything negatively in their life. Their lens through which they see the world is negative. If You'll often hear them complain about literally everything. The lineup at the grocery store, the people in the city don't know how to drive, their boss is an asshole. Whatever it is, everything is going to be negative because the filter through which they see their life is negative. When I suffered from suicidal depression when I was younger and anxiety, I saw the world through a depressive state lens and an anxious lens. I was able to shift that by doing this somatic, deep rewiring work. I truly believe that I wouldn't be where I am today if I didn't do that work. It wasn't when I went to Tony Robbins conferences and I worked with NLP practitioners and I did the therapy, everything combined helped me to be able to get out of that depressive state, out of that anxious state, and change the way that I think and see the world. And you can do that too. So when you shift a belief at that level, okay, at a deep unconscious level, the 95% of you that is driving your daily thoughts, feelings, and actions, you don't have to try so hard, okay? You stop fighting yourself. Something that I do with my clients, it's called integrative parts. If you ever feel like your body and mind or whatever it is playing tug of war with you, one part of you wants to wake up at 5 a.m. and work out, the other part of you wants to sleep until 9 a.m. and then eat chocolate bars for breakfast. I don't know. I used to be that person as well, so I get it. One part of you doesn't want to work out, the other part of you does. Now they, again, are playing tug of war. So what we do during parts integration together is I help you identify what both of these parts want, which in the end, we realize that they both want the same thing. And then we realize, why did this part become disconnected from this other part? It's because this part thinks that it's being safer over here than in the area that you actually want. So if you're trying to make consciously, if you're trying to consciously make all of these different changes in your life with willpower, with restriction, with beating yourself up, with shame and guilt, and removing yourself from certain situations and really causing you to have negative emotions, you'll realize that there are two parts of you that want different things but ultimately want the same thing, but you don't know it because you're not doing that subconscious work. That's what I do with my clients. Holy smokes, is it ever powerful? It's one of my favorite, actually, NLP techniques, which is the integrated parts, because you get to see both parts of you right there in front of you, and then as you do the work, you get to become whole again. Okay? Hopefully this is making sense. So you get to stop fighting yourself when you do this work. You stop having one foot on the gas, one foot on the brake, kind of like the tug of war analogy. That's when clients tell me they feel lighter, freer, more in control than they have in years, and that they've been able to let go of the weight and the baggage that they didn't even realize they were carrying for a decade. And then after we've done this work, they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize how much I was weighed down by the baggage of the thoughts and the shame and the resentment and the emotions that I was carrying in my body and in my mind. And this work happens not because they're forcing it, but because their mind is no longer running this old program of thinking. So I want to give you something to do right now, okay? And that's to start noticing the beliefs that you've been carrying. Here's the exercise, all right? Number 1 is to think about a goal you've been struggling to achieve. Ask yourself, what would I have to believe about myself for this to be so hard? Write down the first thing that comes to mind without filtering, without thinking, just write it down. Then ask, when's the first time I remember feeling this way? You don't have to dig into every detail, just notice what comes up for you. If you feel confused, that's great. Confusion means you're doing something different. Congratulations. This is how we start to uncover the root of the belief. Awareness is the first step to change. Once you see the belief, you start questioning it. It's like shining a flashlight on something that has never seen the day of light. Remember, just because you've believed something for years doesn't mean that it's true, okay? You can actually change it at any point, anytime. So now if this exercise brought up something for you and you're ready to actually shift it, not just manage it, not just be aware of it, I want to invite you to a free 30-minute clarity breakthrough session with me. In the call, we'll get clear on what's actually in the way of your goal, and I'll help you see the patterns that have been keeping you stuck. You'll leave with clarity, and if we're a fit to work together, I'll share with you what that looks like. This is for you if you sabotage often, if you get in your own way, or feel like no matter how hard you try, you keep looping back to the same place. So if you want to book that free session, the link is in the show notes. Remember, change doesn't have to be hard. You just need to have the right tools, the right guidance, and the willingness to go deeper than the surface. Your mind is so powerful, so let's use it to create the life that you really want, okay? I hope this episode was helpful for you. As you can see, I'm extremely passionate about it because I took my life from addiction, not just with food and alcohol and toxic relationships, but also in negative thought patterns that led to suicidal depression and anxiety for years. I isolated. I didn't want to be here anymore. And by doing this work, my life has completely transformed in all ways that I can possibly think of. And I want that for you. Life is not meant for suffering. It's meant for living and for loving. And I understand that there are going to be moments that are difficult. Those moments that are difficult shape you into becoming the person that you're meant to be. And so by having a guide such as myself to help you move through those difficult moments and to help you change the filter through which you see your world and life around you, your entire life can change. And it's extremely exciting to think about because we get one life. So why not try and make it the best life that you absolutely can? So if this speaks to you and you're feeling inspired and fired up and excited and you're like, yes, I want to do this now, then click the link in the show notes to book a free 30-minute clarity breakthrough session with me. And I can't wait to chat with you. I'll see you next week on the Transform Your Life podcast. Bye.